the paper refused to tear. Erica Hale yanked harder, but her hands locked above the probate table as the sentence in Daniel's green maintenance ledger darkened beneath both signatures. The room went silent. Then Daniel realized he could no longer remember his mother's laugh. He had 48 hours to expose the shell company buying their father's home, or lose the duplex, his father, and whatever memories the ledger demanded next. 3 weeks earlier, Daniel had been in the basement of that same duplex with a flashlight between his teeth, replacing a scorched breaker before his father's oxygen concentrator lost power. The house stood on Latham Street in Bellwether, Ohio, 6 blocks from the Levee Road. Walter lived upstairs. Daniel rented the lower unit cheaply, covered repairs and property tax gaps, and had become his father's unpaid caregiver after the stroke. Daniel recorded everything in a thick green maintenance ledger. His mother had started the book when the family bought the duplex. After she died, Daniel kept writing because Walter trusted lists more than memory. That morning, Daniel wrote, "Replace basement breaker before noon." Then he signed beneath it, upstairs. Walter sat at the kitchen table tapping a pencil against a folder. 2 taps had been a family signal since Daniel was a child. Check the written record. His mother had invented it after Walter once paid a contractor who never returned. "Already logged," Daniel said, setting down coffee. Walter's mouth pulled sideways with effort. "Ka." She said she'd stop by after lunch. Erica arrived at 11 in a charcoal coat, carrying a bakery box and a tabbed legal folder. She photographed the pill organizer, checked the refrigerator, and looked at Daniel's work boots, as if they were evidence. "You left him alone last Tuesday," she said, "for 40 minutes. Mrs. Alvarez was upstairs. You didn't tell me. You didn't answer." Erica opened the folder. "That's why I filed for temporary guardianship." Walter's pencil stopped. Erica explained that a county probate magistrate had granted her limited emergency authority pending review. The petition alleged missed care, unpaid bills, and misuse of Walter's pension by the son living below market rent. Daniel looked from the notice to his sister. "You told the court I was stealing from him." "I told the court the finances are undocumented. They're documented, in your notebook." She placed an acknowledgement beside Walter's mug. His signature leaned across the bottom. Walter stared at the page, then pulled it over the green ledger. With his weak hand, he pressed his pencil hard against a line near the footer. Erica reached for the document. Walter tapped the ledger, twice. Daniel saw panic and mistook it for confusion. "I'll explain everything after she leaves," he said. Erica removed the page and closed the folder. "The transport is coming at 1. Daniel called the probate clerk and legal aid. He could challenge the emergency order, but he could not cancel it in a kitchen." At 1:15, a medical transport van stopped at the curb. Walter resisted until Erica promised the placement was temporary. Daniel packed sweatpants, a razor, and the framed photograph from Walter's nightstand. Erica removed the photo from the bag. Glass isn't allowed during intake. Daniel watched the van move between brick duplexes and winter bare maples. Walter lifted his good hand against the window. By 3, the rehabilitation facility had removed Daniel from the authorized contact list. By 5, Erica had changed the upstairs lock. The next morning, a resale company backed into the driveway. 2 men carried out Walter's drill press, table saw, and red metal tool chest. Daniel blocked the truck until the driver showed him a disposal. Authorization signed by the temporary guardian. Erica stood on the porch holding Walter's spare keys. "The workshop is a fall hazard," she said. "The equipment has value. He built half this house with those tools. He can't use them now." The truck left with 30 years of Walter's work strapped beneath a blue tarp. Daniel logged the company name, license plate, time, and every missing item. Then he wrote, "Erica will return Dad's red tool chest by Friday." He signed, then started copying Erica's signature from an old roofing agreement. His mother's rule stopped him. A promise belonged only to the person who made it. Daniel tore out the page. The following afternoon, Mrs. Alvarez brought over a padded envelope delivered to her address by mistake. Inside was Walter's facility inventory, requiring Daniel's signature because he had packed the original bag. He called the administrator, Marla Green, and requested the full visitor log and the name of anyone who had removed items from Walter's room. "I can't release that to you," Marla said. "You're not an authorized contact. You want me to certify the inventory. I want you to confirm what you packed. Then put the exchange in writing." Marla agreed to meet him in the lobby, more irritated than concerned. Daniel drove 50 minutes to Ashford County with a ledger on the passenger seat. A keypad door separated him from Walter's wing. He wrote carefully, "If Daniel Hale signs the intake inventory accurately, Marla Green will provide him by 5 p.m. tomorrow with Walter Hale's complete visitor log, except for any specific restriction she identifies to Daniel in writing." Marla read it. "This is excessive." "It is specific," she signed. Daniel signed beneath her name. The ink darkened. The television, vending machine, and overhead lights lost their sound. For one breath, the lobby seemed sealed inside glass. Then the noise returned. Daniel stared at the sentence. He flipped backward through the numbered entries. The breaker repair had been promised $500. The next signed agreement had become something else. At 4:52 the following afternoon, Marla called. "I don't understand why I'm doing this," she said. "Our counsel told me to wait, but your wording falls inside our records policy. Check your email." The log arrived, so did the payment. Daniel looked at the new copper pipe running along the basement ceiling. A photograph showed him and Walter beneath it, filthy and grinning. Daniel knew they had installed it together. The day itself was gone. He pressed both hands against the workbench until the dizziness passed. The log did not show Erica's name. It showed only staff, a patient advocate, and one woman from North Bend Title Services. Before he could investigate, the facility director called. "Mr. Hale, Ms. Green reported that you pressured her into signing an unusual agreement. Until the patient advocate reviews the incident, you are not to contact staff outside the designated legal channel. I asked for records," she described, feeling unable to refuse. Erica submitted the complaint to the probate evaluator within the hour. By evening, Daniel received a temporary directive restricting direct contact with Walter's facility, except through counsel or the court-appointed advocate. His first use of the ledger had cost him a memory, produced a nearly useless log, and handed Erica evidence that he was unstable and coercive. When the evaluator arrived at the duplex on Monday, Erica had already organized the story. She showed Daniel's cot near the furnace, his debt notices, Walter's cash withdrawals, and a spreadsheet comparing Daniel's rent with market rates. Daniel handed over grocery receipts, property tax payments, repair invoices, and the ledger. The evaluator turned several pages. "These entries are all in your handwriting. Dad asked me to keep them." "I'm not saying he didn't." Erica folded her hands. "This is exactly the problem. Daniel treats his private notes as if they override formal records." The remark worked because it was almost reasonable. After they left, Daniel studied the visitor log again. Melissa Crane, North Bend Title Services. He searched state business filings, county records, and the auditor's parcel page. North Bend had prepared a purchase. Memorandum for Latham Residential Holdings, LLC. The offer was less than half the county's assessed value. Daniel followed the LLC through a registered agent service to a post office box. The same box appeared on a late notice tucked among Walter's rehabilitation bills. It belonged to Erica's boutique company, he called her. You arranged to buy Dad's house through Latham Residential. I arranged an option, Erica said. He needs long-term care. Your company is the buyer. A separate entity is the buyer, for half the value. The property needs work. I did the work. You patched things. That doesn't make you an owner. You told the court I was exploiting him while you built a private sale. I created liquidity. You created dependency. Daniel looked at the green ledger but did not open it. Erica continued, and now I have a facility administrator saying you pressure people into signing strange documents. The evaluator is recommending that your contact remain supervised. The line went quiet after she hung up. Daniel had spent years solving problems by being useful. Erica had turned that habit into proof that he could not be trusted with authority. A notice arrived the next morning ordering mandatory asset mediation before the permanent guardianship hearing. Both siblings had to exchange records concerning Walter's care, property, debts, and income. Daniel checked the time on Marla's agreement. 72 hours had passed. The sentence in the ledger had faded to ordinary ink. Only one contract could remain active. Now there was none. He drafted a disclosure agreement that covered both siblings equally. Every document, payment, transfer, property offer, business interest, and communication connected to Walter's assets had to be preserved and disclosed within 48 hours. Any withheld item had to be identified by category to the mediator. No confession. No forced testimony. Only measurable conduct. At mediation, Erica arrived with an attorney and 3 binders. Daniel came alone with the ledger, the title company record, and a timeline he had built from public filings. The mediator, Lena Brooks, explained that she was not the judge. She could document agreements, narrow disputes, and report failures to comply. Erica's attorney read Daniel's handwritten proposal. We'll use a typed version, he said. That's fine, Daniel replied. Keep the deadline and the disclosure categories. The attorney rewrote it on his laptop, removed 2 vague phrases, and printed 3 copies. Daniel copied the final language into the green ledger. Erica studied him. Refusing a balanced disclosure agreement would damage the image she had spent weeks building. She signed. Daniel signed beneath her name. The ink darkened, and the room lost its sound. Erica reached for the page. Her fingers closed around the top edge. When she tried to tear it, her wrists locked. The ledger stopped the breach. The payment came immediately. Daniel saw his mother at the old kitchen stove, head tilted back in laughter. The image remained, but the sound vanished. He knew he had once been able to hear it inside his own mind. Erica released the page. What did you do? Daniel looked at the 2 signatures. We made the record complete. The agreement had activated once, but every deliberate violation it prevented demanded a separate memory. Erica tried to comply without exposing herself. That afternoon she uploaded bank records but omitted one account. Her hand froze above the final submission button until she added, Daniel lost the memory of his mother teaching him to drive in the church parking lot. The hidden account showed rental payments from Walters, upstairs tenant rooted into Erica's business. The following morning, Erica attempted to exclude Latham Residential Holdings from the business interest schedule. Her fingers cramped around the pen until her attorney asked what she had left out. Daniel lost the smell of the fish fries his mother brought home every spring. The LLC documents revealed nearly $1 $180,000 in guarantees tied to Erica's failing boutique. Emails promised North Bend a quick sale after permanent guardianship, using the duplex to rescue her business before her husband and partners learned the truth. Then Erica made one final attempt. She opened the original email thread on her phone, selected the messages, and moved her thumb toward delete. Across the mediation room, the sentence in the ledger pulsed. Erica's hand locked. Daniel felt the next memory begin to tear loose. His father's voice on the day Daniel passed his licensing exam. He closed the ledger before the deletion completed. The pressure stopped. Erica stared at him. "You can stop it." Daniel understood the choice. The contract could force full disclosure, but every prevented lie would take another piece of his family. He did not need to make the power finish the case. He already had enough. He photographed the visible email headers, noted the date and recipients, and asked the mediator to issue a preservation notice through the normal process. Lena did. By noon, North Bend Title Services had produced the complete thread in response to the mediator's request and Erica's attorney's demand for records. Daniel assembled the evidence himself. Filings, the undervalued offer, diverted rent, debt guarantees, the tool sale authorization, and the title company emails. At the guardianship hearing, the probate courtroom held fluorescent lights, 2 rows of benches, and a clerk checking exhibits against a numbered list. The judge questioned Erica first. "Did you disclose your ownership interest in Latham Residential Holdings when you requested emergency authority?" Erica looked toward her new attorney. "No." "Did you arrange for that company to acquire your father's property while acting as temporary guardian?" "I believed the sale would fund his care, at a price substantially below the county assessment. The property required repairs." Daniel's invoices were already in evidence. The judge turned to the diverted rent, the business guarantees, and the email promising a fast sale after guardianship approval. Erica's explanation narrowed with every question. Then the court reviewed Daniel's conduct. The facility complaint remained in the file. Daniel admitted he had insisted on a written exchange for the visitor log. He did not explain the supernatural effect because the court did not need it. The patient advocate confirmed that the requested log fell within records Daniel could lawfully seek once the inventory dispute was documented. Marla's discomfort did not transform Daniel's request into fraud. The judge froze the duplex transfer, suspended Erica's financial authority, ordered a fiduciary accounting, and appointed a neutral guardian. Walter's preferences would be taken again with communication support present. The victory did not arrive as applause. It arrived as orders read into a record. 2 days later, Daniel entered Walter's room at the rehabilitation facility. His father looked thinner, but his eyes sharpened when Daniel placed the green ledger on the tray table. "The sale is frozen," Daniel said. "Erica's authority is suspended." Walter touched the cover and tapped twice. Daniel opened to the page from the morning of the guardianship signing. Beneath his breaker entry, faint grooves crossed the paper. He tilted the ledger toward the window. Letters appeared in the pressure marks. P.O. Box 418, the shell company's mailing address. Daniel saw the kitchen again. Walter pulling Erica's acknowledgement over the ledger, pressing his pencil hard near the footer, then tapping twice before she removed the page. Daniel had thought his father was confused. Walter had recognized the post office box from Erica's business mail. Unable to explain it quickly, he had pressed the address into the ledger so Daniel could recover it later. The warning had been there from the beginning. "You left me the address," Daniel said. Walter nodded. "You knew what she was doing." Another nod. The original wound changed shape. Walter had not sat passively while his children fought over him. He had preserved the first piece of evidence before the transport van arrived. Daniel's investigation had begun with a message he had failed to read. A month later, Erica's petition was dismissed, and the diverted funds and attempted self-dealing were referred for investigation. The duplex remained Walter's. The resale company returned the red tool chest. It was scratched, 2 drawers were missing, and the old lock had been drilled out. Daniel set it beneath the basement pegboard and rebuilt it 1 drawer at a time. Walter eventually came home with daytime nursing support, a documented care plan, and a patient advocate who spoke to him directly instead of through whichever child sounded most confident. Daniel signed a normal lease. Every withdrawal had a receipt. Every major decision included Walter's own marked approval. The ledger stayed on the workbench, but Daniel never used it to bind another person. One evening, he found a cassette behind the tool chest. His mother's handwriting covered the label. Christmas, 2004. He placed it in Walter's battered tape player. His mother's voice filled the basement. Followed by laughter Daniel could no longer produce from memory. The recording did not restore what the ledger had taken. It only proved the sound had existed. Daniel sat beside his father and listened. Walter tapped the ledger twice. Daniel opened it and wrote beneath the old repair lists, "Promise means more when no one has to force you to keep it."